Hey, yo, what's the deal? It's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I mean? As of this recording right now, it is 3:25 p.m. Yeah, I mean July 13th, 2025, and this is the third video of the day. And right now I'm just in my kitchen right now, just preparing some fish for tomorrow. You know what I mean? I love fish. I love fish. Fish is good. I'm doing tilapia. You know what I mean? Fish is healthy. Fish is real healthy. I love tilapia. Now I'm doing that with some. Let me see. I got some Uncle Ben's rice. But it's not really Uncle Ben's. It's Ben's original. You know what I mean? But it's still Uncle Ben's. You know what I mean? But yeah, because I do not really feel like. No, I mean I am gonna cook. No shit, I could fucking cook. But I'm not gonna cook anything major tomorrow and shit. I'm just gonna do this and I'm good. I'm good to go like Mario. You know what I mean? So this is one or two discussion videos I got for the day. The third video, I know Evolution is on tonight, so I'm definitely going to be watching that and such. Um, you know, and yes, I say a lot. Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn, man. Like, you know what I mean? That's how we fucking talk, man. So, of course, you guys know that, Adam Page won the AEW championship, right? And we also know that Cody also won his, the WWE Championship early in the year. You know what I mean? And such. And, they got cheered and everything else, which is not bad. You know what I mean? It's definitely not bad. But, yeah, they're popular, right? They are popular. But the company who they work for, and again, this is my opinion, so if you get mad, I really don't give a fuck. The company who they work for, right? In my heart of hearts, I think they would rather. I mean, AEW might be a bit of a different story, but there's a fault to it. But I think they rather might have someone who is a big man, right? Way more than than their size. And I'm not saying they're not talented enough, right? I'm not saying that, but I do feel like with big men in pro wrestling, I feel like most companies would rather have a big man on top. They would prefer a big man more than the sizes of like a Cody Rhodes or a Adam Hangman Page and shit like that. Pro wrestling to me, it's still a big man sport. I'm sorry to say. Why the fuck do you think that they're grooming, Braun Breaker? Why do you think they're grooming Braun Breaker? Braun Breaker's a big athletic guy. Not only a big man, but someone who... So, you know what? Let me take back Cody Rhodes. Pause. Let me take back Cody Rhodes. Someone who is not a flippy guy. A big man and not a flippy guy. You know what I mean? A big man, not a flippy guy. I think they would rather have someone who... Because it's a little bit more realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more realistic. Like, John Cena is your WWE champion. Right? So, John Cena is the ideal prototype, no pun intended, you know what I mean, to who WWE is basically looking for. You know what I mean? In a potential star. Right? And someone who they can really build around. Right? As opposed to, and yes, I understand John Cena is about 48 years old, but I'm going somewhere with this. As opposed to someone who is, a flippy wrestler that it's not realistic. You know what I mean? Because the flippy guys, I hate to say this, but the flippy guys are marketed more. They're marketed more than, than someone who is, a big man and a guy who is athletically built is marketed more than someone like a Will Ospreay or a Ricochet and stuff. Don't you notice that a lot of these small guys are not, they're not like overly popular with the masses? Like, they're popular, don't get me wrong. They are popular. But they're not overly popular, right? Look at Batista, right? Batista is a fucking movie star, right? Batista is a guy who is over, right? He's looked at differently. Roman Reigns, the exact same thing. The exact same thing with Roman Reigns, right? Roman Reigns is a guy who is looked at as a guy who can be marketed to the masses, right? Because this is the ideal of what a professional wrestler should be like. Not someone who looked like fucking Ricochet or someone who looks like a Daniel Bryan. And I like Bryan Danielson, but I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. I'm keeping it a stack with y'all. The masses really do not want to see a smaller guy, in popularity. Because again, pro wrestling is a strong man sport. I mean, I hate to fucking say this. I fucking hate to burst your bubble, but that's what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? This was like this in the 90s, and someone in the comment section I know is going to say something stupid. I know someone's going to say something dumb. Like, oh, well, these people are popular in merchandise and yada, yada, yada. I don't mean that. That's just a small little chunk. That's just a small fucking chunk. We're talking about somebody who not only who is built, right, but also their gimmick speaks for itself too. The only one in AEW that, like I said, that can be pushed to the masses when he goes to WWE is MJF. You know what I mean? Because again, he has charisma. You know what I mean? Like he has the makings of a big star. You know what I mean? AEW is not going to get him to where he wants to go. They're not. They're not. You know what I mean? They're clearly not. And so with pro wrestling, people love big guys. I hate to say it. No, because, in a real fight, right, nobody's going to believe that a little guy can beat a big guy with fucking flips and all this shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. Like, I live in the real world. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to believe that. But I do like small guy wrestlers. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just letting you know that, pro wrestling, right, it's still a big man's game. It's still a big man's game, no matter how you slice it. No matter how you slice it. You can get mad at me all you want. I mean, I truly don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, the smaller wrestlers suck. I'm not saying that. No. I'm clearly not saying that. Clearly not saying that. What I'm saying is, when we're talking about someone who is hyped up, like massively, right? Almost to the point where, they can become bigger than wrestling. Their wrestling, it's always the big men. Always. It's always the big men. No matter how you slice it, it's always big men. Always. Always. Always have, always will be. Right? Look at Brock Lesnar. Right? Brock Lesnar was a great example. Right? And there's other names too. Shit, I'll even throw in CM Punk. CM Punk is a good wrestler and such. He has charisma and such. Right? But I truly think, yes, look at Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin, yes. But let's keep it a buck. Steve Austin was over. He was a good wrestler, but his gimmick got him over. And that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, with getting over by attrition. There's nothing wrong with that. But just keep in mind that pro wrestling, right, to get massively over, right, in this business, right, the companies are always looking for someone who they can build around. Big men who they can build around. Why? Because big pro wrestling is a big man's game. No matter how you slice it, it's a big man's fucking game. Always have and always will be. If a lot of these guys, a lot of these flippy guys were as big as Rock and Steve Austin. I mean, Rock and Batista and John Cena, right? They will get over massively. Let me take a sip of water. They will get over massively because this is what the public really wants. You know what I mean? Like, this is what and I'm not talking about the rest of the public too. I'm talking about, the casual public, Hollywood and stuff, the mainstream, who they can build around. Because again, it's not, with Lil Men, it's not realistic. It's not. I'm sorry to say, it's not realistic. It's not fucking realistic. You know? Now, if you don't like what I gotta say, then tough shit. I'm about to be out. You know what I'm saying? I definitely will be coming with another video tonight. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. All right? Peace.